This is the final design project for this class by Janine Olandes. It is called the Life 101 project, and it is based around a life and career planning that the 8th grade students will be performing. As the students prepare to move on to high school, they start planning for their life after high school, especially as a special ed student. We create their transition plan in their IEPs that help gear them towards life after high school. And we do this so that their classes in high school can be geared to what their interests would be. Students in this project will be creating a fake life for themselves and utilizing it and presenting it through Keynote. The learners are 8th grade students who are 13 to 14 years old. It is a special education instructional class, so it is all special ed students. And they are anywhere from 3 to 6 grades below grade level in reading and writing. There are 5 students total, 4 boys and 1 girl. Our district is 1-to-1 with iPads this year, and so we try to incorporate technology as much as possible. Learning standards were focused around using technology and the internet, conventions of writing, research projects, and producing clear, coherent writing. The objective, students will be expected to take an interest survey that gears information based on what their interests are. They will also be demonstrating understanding on how to budget plan using Google Sheets. And they will also be creating a presentation using Keynote to share their research. Students will be able to reflect on the process of the project by completing a questionnaire at the end, and they will demonstrate their research skills as well. This project is around and based off of project-based learning. They are researching and creating a Keynote presentation based on information they've gathered, and it is applied to a real-life situation. It also has a key area of flipped classroom model, as they will be watching videos outside of the classroom to help them prepare for utilizing it inside the classroom. Based on the SAMR model, it is augmentation and also modification. On the augmentation side of it, the handouts and materials are available to them outside of the classroom through Schoology and also through the site I provided for them. And they will communicate them through discussion boards and are able to email the teacher whenever they need to. Since they're able to take their iPads home, this really allows them to have access to all of this information. And technology also takes place as a substitute to this project because it used to be created using just a binder and constructing it through construction paper. And now we will be able to utilize the technology portion for it. In modification, students are able to collaborate with each other using Google Sheets for their budget and through Keynote, because they are able to share all their information directly through those two applications. The technology that will be used will be Schoology, Keynote, Safari, Google Drive, and also their iPads and YouTube will also be a key component. Keynote and Safari will be the main things they will be utilizing. They will be using Safari for their research, and Keynote will be their main area for presentations. They will be able to collaborate with other classmates if they are working with partners. Schoology will be there to access all the materials, including the grading rubric, as well as collaborating and emailing the teacher. Google Drive will also have necessary documents that they will need as well. On the first day, they will be completing their interest survey and selecting their careers. Their interest survey will look something like this, where they will indicate if they don't like it or they do like it, based on a 5 rating scale. And there's 60 questions total. At the end, they will get a rating scale like this, where it will tell them what their highest areas are. On this one, the highest area was social. Over here on the right-hand side, they're able to click and get some information based on that. And then if they have an area that was tied, they can then choose, based on the information they read, which one they would prefer to do. So if they were to click on social, this would be the screen that pops up. So it gives them some information about what maybe someone in that area might like. And then from there, they will determine what kind of preparation they would want their job to have. So if there's someone who doesn't really want to have a whole lot of job preparation, they would click on that. If they want something that has a little bit higher end of job preparation, they would click on that. Whatever they choose, they will then be given a list of careers. They are to choose 2 of their careers that they are interested in and perform some research on that. And the research comes from when they click on it. They will have a sheet that they will be filling out based on the information they find. So like I said, they will be choosing 2 of them, and each of them will come up with the information for each of those jobs. So if they clicked on middle school teachers, they'll be given the information for knowledge, skills, abilities. They will also have an idea of what their salary might look like, what education is required. So they will have a sheet that will have all of this information they'll need to be putting on there. Then at the end, on day 2, they will be choosing which of those 2 careers they have researched, and they are given the choice of which one they want to pursue for their project. Once they have their career chosen, they will be given their salary from the teacher as well as their life option, such as if they're married and have kids, or if they have roommates. If either one of those are occurring, if they are given if they're married or if they have roommates, then they are pairing up with another student in the class, and that won't be happening with all of them. It will just be happening with some of them. So if they have a roommate, then they'll have someone else in their class that will also be a roommate of theirs, and they will be sharing the responsibilities of research and completing the forms and the presentation. They will also then complete a worksheet on how to figure out what their monthly allowance is, so what their monthly salary is. The project will also be discussed at length on this day, and necessary handouts will be given. This would be the worksheet that they complete based on their salary. They take their salary and divide it by 12 months. Then they take that amount and multiply it by 0.75 to represent the taxes. Then they will also subtract health insurance information. And then at the end of all that, they'll be given their monthly allowance where they'll plug it into their budget form. This form explains the entire project. It gives them how many points everything is worth, what they need to have, and what the total point value is for the whole project. Students will also be expected in their budget form to not only to create the formulas for it. They will be given a generic form that will have all of the information listed, so it will have the different types of bills they need, but they will be creating the formulas for that so that it will calculate everything that they need. And this will be the directions that they will be given. Students who have a little bit more difficult time with this, especially with the math and stuff like that, they will be given a form that's already pre-done for them, and so all they have to do is just plug in their numbers. On days 3 through 6, they'll be actually conducting their research. They'll be looking for places to live, insurance, a car if they want a car, or public transportation if that's what they choose to do. Creating a shopping list to get an idea of how much they want to spend on groceries each month. And then they need to provide bills for all of this. So they're able to use examples or old bills from their parents to help support this information. On the 7th day, they'll be finishing up their research. They will be finishing up their budget form, and then they will be creating a pie chart. And the pie chart will be done to show them what percentage of their monthly income is being used by all of these bills. At home that night, students will be expected to watch a video on Keynote on how to utilize Keynote. So this will help them prepare for how to use it, especially if they're not familiar with it. Over here on the right-hand side is an example of what a student budget form would look like. So they'll be given this whole left column already filled out, and within this middle column, they will plug in their monthly income, and then from here to here, they will be expected to calculate the formula and put in the formula. And then they will determine down here at the bottom how much is budgeted and how much is left over each at the end of the month. Then they will also have their percent of income. And then the percent of income will be represented by this pie chart on the left. On days 8 and 9, students will be wrapping up their research if they haven't already, and they will begin working on their presentation and keynote. They are expected to provide all the information for every part. So if, say, their rent includes gas, water, and garbage, they need to mention that in their presentation. So if they are deciding that they don't need to research it because it's included in their rent, then they need to mention that it's included in their rent. Same thing if they decide to do a TV and internet bundle. On the budget form, there's two separate areas. There's TV and there's internet, but they need to specify that there's a bundle, and so for the two, they're going to be paying that cost. And then on the final day, they'll be finishing up their presentations, doing a project survey through Google Forms, and then they will also be beginning presentations to the class. This is an example of what a student would produce. So they have information about themselves. So they need to give information about themselves, where they live, what career they have, what their annual salary is, as well as what their monthly salary is. And then they need to make it very visually appealing, having pictures, providing all the information that they need. If they are choosing a car, they will also be completing a car payment form as well. So they're learning about interest on a car as well as monthly, or how many years you can pay on a car. So they'll be performing all of that information too. And this is the other half of it. So if they choose a cell phone versus a landline, then they need to do that. And then they will also need to, they also budget in how much they would spend on entertainment each month, how much they would spend on clothing, and then how much they would put away into savings. So they even work on learning about saving money and how much they want to put based on what's left over at the end of their month. And then they include their budget form and then their pie chart. So for differentiation, this project's already differentiated based off of the general education population because this is a whole 8th grade project. And so I've already differentiated it. That's been done by giving them options on how they can do it. So if they're not comfortable with technology, then they can go use the old binder method that we've done in the past. They can also create it using another presentation tool that they may be more comfortable with, such as Google Slides, if they're not comfortable with Keynote. The budget form will also have the formulas already filled in for those students who need it. And there is also a paraprofessional in the class that is available to help them if necessary. And then they'll have the continuous access to videos if they need them. The digital content is the website that students can go to access all of the information that they need. I believe, yep, it's this. So it will have all the forms that they will need. It will have the interest survey, the website on Keynote, or the video on Keynote, and any other websites that might be needed for their presentation. Another differentiation tool that students will get, if they are ones that really struggle with completing stuff, they would be given websites for them to specifically look to rather than being given the free range. And then at the end, students will be evaluated based on the student presentations, and they were given the form on how much and how many points and what is absolutely needed on the project at the very beginning. So they will be graded on that, and then also the project survey at the end. So that completes the presentation.